Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Christina McNeil, and this is NB12 for Tuesday, June 5th, 2012, broadcasting from the Cable 12 studios on Robinson Road. In news tonight, the Free National Movement courting former members, the Prime Minister tours parts of the inner city, how police feel about the revamped program, and BC managers threaten industrial action. We have those stories and much more coming up tonight. Your NB12 starts right now. Joining us. Free National Movement Chairman Charles Maynard flying on the defensive today after a Nassau Guardian article revealed that the party intends to try to convince former Minister Grenville McCartney to abandon the Democratic National Alliance and return to the FNM. Maynard has also said the new leader and deputy leader of the FNM have a year to 18 months to prove themselves. Candia Dames reports.
Maynard came here to Guardian Radio today to clarify his position after this Nassau Guardian headline article, which was written based on an interview he did recently on the Cable 12 program Political View with Jeff Lloyd. Maynard insisted that his comments were taken out of context, and he stressed that he has full faith and confidence in the new leadership of the Free National Movement. While on Political View, Maynard did say the FNM wishes to see all former FNMs returned home to the party as it rebuilds in the wake of the May 7th election. This was his specific response when asked by Lloyd whether the party would seek to attract the DNA leader back to the FNM.
I started the program by saying that we are going to reach out to all former FNMs and ask them to come home, and Mr. McCartney is no different from the rest. We are definitely going to reach out our hand to him and say, Mr. McCartney, you're an FNM. You always said that your first link in politics was looking at the FNM and being an FNM and being involved in the FNM. Whatever reasons there were that caused you to do otherwise, look at it again and see if it makes sense for you to be at home where you belong rather than out there trying to keep a fledgling party going, because despite the amount of votes they got, it's going to be very difficult for them to sustain themselves for the next 5 years. It may be a waste of time and resources. It may be better to get into the mainstream through the FNM. And so the simple answer is yes, we're going to reach out our hand to him like we're going to do to many others in his party and those who are not in his party.
But when he appeared on Darrell Miller Live today, Maynard said that comment was not intended to mean McCartney would be specifically targeted by the FNM. He stressed repeatedly that McCartney would be welcomed just like anyone else who wants to return. Maynard further clarified his position in an interview with NB12 today.
I said that Mr. McCartney, who once was an FNM, should take a close, hard look at the FNM once again. And so those words were my words, but I just wanted it to be accepted by the Bahamian public in context.
Now, Lloyd also asked Maynard whether the new leadership team of the FNM, that is Dr. Hubert Minnis and Loretta Butler-Turner, will lead the party into the next general election.
I believe sincerely that Dr. Minnis and our deputy leader, Loretta Butler-Turner, has exactly 12 months to 18 months to prove themselves.
Is that it?
The FNM traditionally, like I say it as plain as I can, don't take mess. They have a very low tolerance in terms of seeing their party progress. And we've seen that over the years. That's why you've had splits in the 70s, and you had Kendall Isaacs, then Cecil Wallace, then Kendall Isaacs again, and all of these things, because they have a low tolerance for seeing their party move.
While admitting he was quoted correctly in today's Guardian, Maynard sought to explain his comment when he appeared on Darrell Miller Live. He said the party's current leadership is competent to deal with the task at hand. He also said this to NB12.
The question was asked whether I thought that they would lead the party into the next general election. And I told Jeff Lloyd that I thought it was too early to determine that I thought that this 12 months would be used by both our leader and deputy leader to prove themselves and to show the party that they're worthy to govern us and to lead us into the next general election, and that they thought that they had what it takes to do it. And so that's the context in which I said it. Not saying that we will only keep them for 12 months. That generally speaking, that people would watch their progress and then make their determinations as to whether or not they had what it takes to take us solidly into election, and that I believe that both of them had the competence to do it.
Now, McCartney said after the election he intends to stick with the DNA and keep that party going despite disappointments at the recent election. Despite the buzz surrounding that article today, Maynard insisted that the Free National Movement will remain focused on the key issues affecting the Bahamian people at this time, including the high level of violent crime. You can catch Political View with Jeff Lloyd right here on Cable 12 at 9 p.m. tonight. Reporting for NB12, I'm Candia Dames.
What does demolishing an old, dilapidated building have to do with the fight against crime in the Bahamas? Well, according to the Progressive Liberal Party and its newly launched Urban Renewal 2.0, it's the first step. Paige McCartney reports.
Having this abandoned home torn down behind me is one of the first actions of Urban Renewal 2.0. It helps to beautify the community, according to Prime Minister Perry Christie, and it also aids in the fight against crime by taking away another abandoned home in which criminals can store weapons or drugs.
Prime Minister Perry Christie and many of his cabinet ministers gathered in the Rolls Avenue area today for what they called a symbolic physical realization of what Urban Renewal 2.0 is all about. According to the Prime Minister, the 41 officers stationed at the 9 Urban Renewal offices throughout New Providence will oversee the clearing out of those communities, not only from criminals but other factors that contribute to social decay. He said tearing down an abandoned dilapidated home on the corner of that street will help police fight crime.
The other side used to say police officers delivering food to people, delivering services to people are not what police officers are supposed to be. Well, you see senior police officers here performing this, causing this to take place. Effectively, they're able to move in the community, look at things where people can store weapons in places like this, come here and get the weapons, go rob people and put them back in there. They're going to move all of this from these communities. They're going to be removed from these communities. So they're going to be performing a role that is really the very basis of law and order.
Christie said if residents can live in a clean and clear environment, their mindsets would change.
Urban renewal to me means that we're going to take these houses here, we're going to demolish them. The experience of the outdoor toilets that are here will be no more. A new home will come here, new people will come into this home, and those children will be able to go to the school next door, be able to become a part of a live neighborhood, and the whole renewing of this neighborhood is important.
But what about those dilapidated homes that people actually reside in? Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Urban Development Philip Brave Davis said assessments have already been made on many of those homes, and the Urban Renewal Small Homes Repair Fund will be used to help.
A number of houses, abandoned vehicles, have already been identified, and you'll be seeing them moved and demolished as we speak.
Davis said low-cost, affordable homes will be built in place of the homes that are demolished.
What his hope is that we'll find out who the owner of the property is. I think we already know who the owners of the properties are, whether they will allow us to buy it off them or acquire it and rebuild a home here for some person who might wish to move into it around from the neighborhood.
Minister of Social Development Melanie Griffin said interministerial cooperation is the foundation of the Urban Renewal program, with all agencies lending their resources for the success of the project. Reporting for NB12, I'm Paige McCartney.
Former Minister of National Security Tommy Turnquest hitting out at Urban Renewal 2.0 today, claiming that the Christie administration appears about to repeat what the F&M claims the PLP did during its last term in office and staff urban renewal with people who are not trained up to police force standards.
There are currently around 2,900 career police officers. We have in New Providence 7 or 8 police divisions that have to be staffed. We have all the islands that require police officers. I hope that they're not going to take persons who are not trained and call them police officers as they did in the past. We took great pains to make sure that those persons who were qualified to be police officers went through the full 6-month training, and then they were on probation for a further 6 months. So they had 1 year training before they were called full constables of the police force. And I hope that we don't revert to just putting anyone and calling them police officers.
Meantime, with the ambitious crime-fighting agenda the Christie administration has laid out, executive members of the Police Staff Association say the force is stretched. They are questioning if there will be sufficient officers to carry out the government's mandate. Vonique Toot reports.
With new crime-fighting initiatives like Urban Renewal 2.0 and school policing coming on stream, the newly elected executive chairman of the Police Staff Association is calling on the government to provide the Royal Bahamas Police Force with additional manpower. 41 police officers have been assigned to Urban Renewal, which was relaunched on Monday. However, it is unclear how many officers will be deployed to public schools in September as part of the government's school policing program. PSA Chairman Sergeant Darrell Ware says new programs call for new officers.
Yes, we are stretched, and we'll be urging the government with all these new things coming on stream, urban renewal, school policing. Definitely we'll need more police presence. We'll need more police officers. I mean, we don't make it the Bahamas a police state, but it's reality.
Ware says the Staff Association supports urban renewal and any other programs designed to reduce the level of violent crimes. However, he says the welfare of police officers is his top priority, and he will not allow them to be taken advantage of.
We're doing a comprehensive study right now. I just became the chairman. I have ideas out there, but when we see exactly what all the initiative are coming on stream, when we see what they're all about and what manpower they require. Like I saw yesterday, there was some 41 officers sent to Urban Renewal. I will see how much will be being sent to school-based policing, and then we'll be able to determine from there. We have all the faith in the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ellison Greenslade, who is capable of doing the job. And if it wasn't possible, I have no doubt he wouldn't allow. He would have said, we are not in position to carry out these programs at this time.
Commissioner of Police Ellison Greenslade acknowledged the force's manpower challenges on Monday, while announcing a policy change relating to the transport of police suspects to and from Princess Margaret Hospital. Constable Herman Pinder was shot by an armed robbery suspect he was guarding at PMH alone. Sergeant Ware commended his members for getting the job done despite this challenge.
I have no doubt the officers will step to the plate. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, we have a job to do. It may be taxing. This is a profession what we decide to do, and at this point we'll do what we have to do until help come or we get additional officers. But I feel officers up to the task to do the job.
The PSA chairman says his members will continue to do all they can to keep our community safe. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonique Toot.
Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis today pushing back at claims made by Minister of State for National Security Senator Keith Bell in the upper chamber yesterday. Bell claimed that the last Ingram administration used the confiscated assets fund as a slush fund and emptied it over the last 5 years without publicly stating why. Today, Minnis said that had Bell availed himself of the House of Assembly's Hansard, he would know that all the audit reports of the fund have been tabled, and the former Minister of National Security made detailed references as to how much was being spent on what.
The last audit report of the confiscated assets fund was tabled in the House of Assembly in October 2011, reflecting a balance of just under $1 million, and also recording expenditures of funds from the confiscated asset funds authorized for the acquisition of surveillance equipment, that is electronic monitoring, ammunition and bulletproof vests, aviation training, purchase of aircraft, motor vehicles and motorcycles, mobile police command centers, radar equipment and vessels. All funds were spent with Cabinet's approval and in full compliance with the requirements of the Confiscated Fund Act.